What's up with the squad? Back with another video. I see in the title was going down. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it in the title. Let's check out what Scott Jennings have to say.
Well, first of all, I don't find them to be consequential. Second of all, Walz is a buffoon. I'm sorry. This guy, he's the only school teacher in America who brags that none of his students can get into an Ivy League school. He's had one consequential press interaction with our Dana Bash, who asked him about the fabrications in his own resume, and his answer was essentially, me no understand words good. I mean, he's a buffoon. He's on a free ride for running under Harris. He gets very little press. They don't let him talk to the press for a reason.
And what I like about Scott is he's real. He's real. And then you got this woman right here. I've never seen her before. You got this woman right here repeating his name, Scott. Scott, like, calm down. He's telling the truth.
For running under Harris. He gets very little press. They don't let him talk to the press for a reason. I want one thing out of this debate. I want J.D. Vance to go out there and get under his skin. He has legendary hot, short temper. A lot of governors do, but apparently he does. I want J.D. Vance to go out there and have him explain why he is denigrating J.D. Vance's story. Small-town America ends up making something better out of his life, which is something we should want for every kid. Well, first of all,
Facts. Come on with it. I mean, this Scott Jennings, y'all. I told y'all the first time I've heard Scott Jennings talk, I didn't know anything about Scott Jennings, and I was watching CNN one day, and I was like, well, it's about really the only one that got some common sense that I seen.
I do think there's a reason that in our own CNN poll today, 51% of Americans said they judged Trump's term to be a success, and only 37% have judged the Biden-Harris administration to be a success. There is something going on where people are remembering what he did, how he did it, and they're comparing it to what's happening right now. So you can cherry pick these individual statements or policies, but if you look at the comparative and you look at our own polling, you realize he's hit upon an economic vein that is working for him in this election. He beats Harris on it, and he is viewed as a better president than Biden and Harris.
50% say that Trump is better to handle the economy. Just 39% say that of Harris. Yeah. There's a lot.
I feel like this also should, it tells you a lot. Who do you trust more to handle the economy? And it has Donald Trump as 50%, Kamala Harris as 39%, neither at 11%. This should tell you a lot. Seeing on what we're dealing with right now, it should tell you a lot. And like I said in the last video, people are starting to wake up and realize that times are really bad right now, and I feel like it's spreading. We're in a time right now that social media, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have YouTube, you have all these different types of social media, X, that literally spreads a lot of information, especially, I'm not even gonna lie, and it's sad that it is, and a lot of kids are on social media. It spreads to kids too. Young teenagers, young adults, you know what I mean? So, a lot more people are starting to wake up and realize what's going on. Even though it's people that make, different memes and joking about, but a lot of more people are starting to realize what's going on right now.
A lot of work for her to do here.
Poor and low-wage working class voters. Also, the issue you're conveniently leaving out of this conversation is they've been crushed by inflation for the last 3.5 years. And I don't think it's as simple as what you laid out, Keith, about race. I think they're looking at their overall situation and saying, 4 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever, I felt like I was at least had a fighting chance. And today, after being crushed, I'm in a hole so deep I don't know how to get out. And I do think they're looking for someone to blame or to at least say, why did these policies get enacted upon me? I'm the one who's feeling it the most.
It's crazy. It's I'm telling y'all, it literally gets insane just off the simple fact that how much lies, people can be. And I can't even say brainwash. It's more so of lies. It's more so of lies. And you have, the amazing Scott Jennings that is, gonna lay it down and speak the truth. And you literally need that. You definitely need that, because I'm tired of the lies and the fakeness coming from, that administration.
Was your experience?
I gotta watch what I say on here, y'all.
Watching last night, when you think about the fact that you are up next, or maybe up next, depending on how things go, and of course, we're hoping we're going to see another presidential debate, and we'd love to do it here. How are you preparing? What's your method of preparation against Governor Walz?
Well, by the way, I appreciate you guys being willing to host these debates. It's very important. And unfortunately, you have Vice President Harris and Tim Walz, who are effectively running from the American media, running from hostile media, running from friendly media. And I think it's really disgrace. I mean, the way that I think about this is it's an opportunity, right? I get 90 minutes to talk to the American people about how Donald Trump can make their lives better, about how his vision for fixing inflation, for lowering the cost of housing and securing that southern border, and why they should elect him president of the United States to make their lives better. So it's 90 minutes.
And one thing about it, y'all, I'm not even going to lie. What people got to realize and people got to understand, Tim Walz and Trump, they are looking at the fact, we need to fix, first of all, problems that have been literally there from the Biden administration. And on top of the stuff that we going through now. We talking about the past. We talking about now. You got the border. You got inflation. You have, all this stuff, that's going on. All this stuff. And then what you have from, Kamala is, to talk about freedom, a new way forward. That's what you get out of that. Freedom. And honestly, you're getting it when you have so many migrants. When I seen how many, I'm telling y'all, when I seen the destruction and seeing how bad, some of these states are looking with, man, I'm telling y'all, it's definitely sad.
President of the United States to make their lives better. So it's 90 minutes where we're going to talk about a lot of policy. I'm trying to read and just understand as much as possible, what Tim Walz has done, what policies he supported, and how it's so different from the prosperity and peace that Donald Trump delivered. I want to talk to people, and I get an opportunity to do that for 90 minutes. So we're going to try to be as well versed in the policy, because that's ultimately what's going to make people's lives better as it happened under Donald Trump, or worse as it's happened under Kamala Harris.
And I'm telling y'all, just you can see how calm and cool this man is. I'm telling y'all, the way that he speaks, the way that everything is just cool and calm. You don't have to, and they say it all the time. They try to make JD Vance and Trump look bad. Say bad things, and I'm telling y'all, bro, cool dude, honestly. And I didn't even know, I didn't know anything about JD Vance at all. I didn't know anything about JD Vance. Like I said, y'all know who I wanted to be VP if y'all been watching me. But, it's cool. I think JD Vance, was definitely an amazing pick, just the way he was, and I'm saying that now just off the simple fact, of hearing him speak, hearing what he's about, and, stuff like that. This from George on X. JD Vance has won the coin toss against Tim Walz and has chosen to have the final words at the debate next week. It's genius to let Walz, talk. And then this was said from George. Mic drop, immediately after. Literally says Trump and Vance can't stop winning the debate coin tosses. So that's pretty amazing. It's definitely pretty amazing. This video right here, I definitely wanted to show. I had mentioned something in my last video that more and more people are starting to wake up and realize. Check this out. See what's said.
They still believe they can and will win Pennsylvania, but they feel good about Michigan. They feel good about Wisconsin, relatively good. It may be a landslide. Maybe they'll win by a full percentage point in both of those states. But in Pennsylvania, they know it's going to be a fight, and it's going to be a fight because she's doing better, much better among women and most young voters, but older white men, just like people thought after Biden left the race, more of a challenge, pulling them to vote against Trump again.
Yeah, older white men, and actually to younger white men too, also a bit of a challenge. That number they'll like a lot, up +5 in Pennsylvania, because you're right, it's the new Ohio, it's the new Florida, it's the state where they see they have the most problems. And of course, then either the concern or the upside, depending on how you look at this from the Harris campaign's point of view, is that Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, people think will break the same way. That's what they've done traditionally ever since 1980. I think there's one exception. And so if they lose Pennsylvania, what would that then mean for Wisconsin and Michigan? If they win Wisconsin and Michigan, does that mean they're going to win Pennsylvania? But that's why they're putting so much resources into that. But it's men. I mean, I think the real struggle for the Harris campaign is young men, older men, men of color, white men, and they are doing all they can. You can see, I think the debate next week will be really interesting to see how Tim Walz reaches out to that group. Doug Emhoff, who I interviewed yesterday, I think we've got a clip of that we can have later on the program. He is making a concerted effort in his own way to reach out to that group.
That brings me to my next video that I'll be dropping tonight. Make sure y'all stay tuned for that. That's why I saved it for the last video to drop tonight. Literally says the real struggle for the Harris campaign is young men, older men, men of color, white men. This is, to me, and I'm not even gonna lie, it is going to be very challenging for them. That right there is going to be very challenging if you don't have young men, older men, men of color, and white men that is supporting you. That should be a problem. Me personally, and that's, this is just me being real, and this is a problem. I don't want to get, trouble on YouTube. So that's why I'm watching what I'm saying. But I mean, you look at Tim Walz, you look at Doug, and that brings me to my next video that I'm dropping tonight. You're not going to have that. They even went as far as saying, I forgot what they call them, but having them a name that has wife in it or something. Like, come on. What man, like it. Think about this, y'all. Think about this. I want y'all to think about something. Oh, I'm so mad that I can't think of the term that they use for Doug, that people call him. But why would you want that? Like, you want, what do they call it? A first gentleman or a second some. Like stuff like that. I don't know. I don't want to be judgmental. But I just look at the fact that, when you don't have young men, older men, men of color, white men, that is a really big problem. And I don't know. I really don't know. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. And come November, we know what the outcome is going to be. This just told us everything we need to know. Make sure y'all stay tuned for the next video. Catch y'all next one.